Greetings, reserved, grounded, stable, Taurus. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and now I'm going to do the November 2020 forecast for the sign of Taurus. And I'm going to start with the tarot reading, and then I'm going to look at some of the planetary transits for the month of November. But I definitely encourage you to follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, because there I do more regular posts about the transits as they're unfolding in my stories and on my feed. And it's so much to talk about here in these videos. But I do like to give a brief Cliff Notes overview so people can watch the videos for their sun, moon, and rising and get an idea of what to expect. And as we enter the month of November, Taurus, it looks like you are maybe going on a trip. And for those who aren't literally going on a short trip, perhaps, this could have to do with more of an emotional journey. You might be moving away from choppy emotional times towards calmer emotional times as we enter the month of November. And you are covered by the Two of Swords. So there may be someone near you who you were in conversation with, in dialogue with, who has not completely revealed themselves to you. Maybe they haven't revealed their true thoughts or ideas or where they really stand on the situation. And you were crossed by the Fool, which is a new start. It looks like you are making a new start in the month of November. And the basis of the situation, the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So this is maybe taking off time from work for some people. And for those who aren't working, it means that you might be, just taking time off from whatever your normal, kind of day-to-day duties in the world are. And what's leaving is the Sun. So this might be a vacation, a fun time that you've recently had. And what could come into being is the Five of Wands. So around mid-month, there could be a conflict or a struggle involving 3 to 5 people. And how others see you. So this is a situation of friendship. And there may be a friend whose feelings are hurt by you right now. Or it could be that a friend has hurt your feelings as well. It could manifest either way. Fears or insecurities, death. That's pretty obvious. It could be that you're fearing the death of yourself or someone else, literally, or it could be that you're just fearing a big change in life. Others see you, the Page of Wands reversed. So this is a child who may be having trouble getting started on something. Maybe they're looking to assistance from you. It looks like if at first they don't succeed, they should just keep trying. And others, positive feelings, the Chariot. Yes, you are moving forward towards the end of the month. It looks like you might actually be going on a literal trip or journey, or more just figuratively, your eyes are on your goals and you're riding towards it. And then the outcome, it's the Nine of Cups. This is the wish card. It is reversed, however, Taurus, meaning that your wish is on the table, which is wonderful, but it looks like it is delayed. It's not going to maybe come true in November, but it is on the table and it will be coming true. I would look to more towards, when the conjunction happens in December, but I'll talk more about that in the next series of videos. But in the meantime and in between time, this is really great. The wish is on the table, Taurus. And that is the tarot overview. And now I want to talk a little bit about the planets and the transits. As we enter the month of November, we've just come off the blue moon, full moon of Halloween, which we're still in the blue moon phase because it's still in Taurus. So this is your blue moon, Taurus. So it happened in your first house. That's the house of self, the house of identity, the house of the body. It can be the house of your self-expression. And so there was a surprise probably. And if it didn't happen the last weekend of October, maybe it's going to happen in the first couple of days of November. But it is energy that brings a jolt so that we can look at things in a different way and growth can happen from that place. It's also the Day of the Dead at this time. So this is the time when the veil between the two worlds is the thinnest. So, oftentimes the ancestors, they're around to communicate. They may visit you in your dreams. You may have some experiences, some memories. And in general, it's a great time to get readings and things like that if you want to communicate with your loved ones on the other side. But aside from that, Mercury is also going direct in Libra, and so for you, Taurus, this is going to be in your house of communication. So if there was anything going on around the communications around health issues or whatever, it's probably going to start to be cleared up now. Or if it was any kind of mix-ups around your daily routine, or if you have employees where that's applicable, that will start to be cleared up. But this day in particular, November 3rd, is not the day it'll get cleared up. That might be the day where it peaks at its most difficult point, and then as Mercury moves forward, it will clear up, and then the whole situation will be, you'll probably be back to normal by November 20th, but it's like on the incline once Mercury starts going direct. And any contracts you sign during the Mercury retrograde period, anything like that might come up for review and need to be straightened out, tweaked, reworked. There might be things that weren't noticed, things that, stuff like that. If there was technological stuff, it's going to start improving now, all of that. So November 9th, Ceres enters Pisces. This is a time where for Taurus, this is going to be in your 11th house of friends and business associates. This means you're going to be needing to do some nurturing, some tender love and care with your friends, or perhaps it's allowing your friends to be very nurturing to you at this time. And that will be, throughout the rest of the month, it will be traveling there in that house for you. November 10th, Mercury enters Scorpio, which is where it was when it went retrograde in the first place. So we're heading towards being out of the woods. We're clearing up stuff that happened in the earlier part of the retrograde in October. So now once it goes into Scorpio, for Taurus, it's going to be entering your house of relationships and marriage and business partnerships. So communication will be cleared up if there was anything that came up then. And November 12th, Jupiter forms the conjunction with Pluto. This is the third and final conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto this year. This has been a very important conjunction because it has mirrored the surges in the virus for us in America particularly. And this is the third and final exact formation of these two planets. This is going to be probably the third and final surge of the year around this time. And this is probably going to be the worst one I'm anticipating because it is squaring Mars. And so, we've almost made it through the roughest astrology of the year. And this is really where it kind of comes to a crescendo. For Taurus, in your personal charts, this is in the 9th house. So this is a real time of great spirituality for you to examine your faith, what your philosophical beliefs are. It could be religion for some, it could be spirituality for others. It is where we find God, and for others it can be, through nature. This is also a time of, this could bring up issues around cross-cultural experiences for you. It could bring up things like that. So There's also an opportunity of expansion for power and wealth at this time, having to do with publishing, broadcasting, international ventures, things like that. Because these, so there's a lot there. There's a dark side to the energy, and then there's also a side to the energy, which, well, depending on which side of the coin you're on, it could seem dark to others, but to others it would be very advantageous because you are able to, anyway, it's a tough time in the world for many, but it's also an advantageous time in the world for some. So November 13th, Mars goes direct in Aries. This is in your 12th house, Taurus. This is a relief for you. While it stations, though, this is a sensitive time. While Mars is retrograde, particularly in these past 3 weeks or so, in that 12th house, there could have been a theft, an identity theft, something like that. The 12th house is the house of hidden karma. It could be something from hidden enemies that came out there during that period, but now it's starting to straighten out. So again, we're heading towards the clearing up things period. We're heading towards, once we pass this mid-November point, it's like most of the most difficult astrology of the year has happened. It's coming to a peak mid-November, but then we're going to be on the end of clearing it up. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is starting to head in the right direction now. And November 14th is the new moon in Scorpio. So this is a time to set intentions around your marriage, around your relationship, around any business partnerships you have. If you have any court cases or settlements going on, make intentions around that. It's also a time for, I think a new moon ritual is always a good idea, because if you do it every month, you activate the entire wheel of your life throughout the year. And November 20th, Mercury is out of the shadow of retrograde, so now everything should be cleared up that went haywire, where there were misunderstandings, where there were miscounts, where there was lost mail. We should maybe around this time, I expect, be finding out who's president, hopefully, with a really clear answer. But yeah, in your personal life, when Mercury is out of shadow, it will be in that 6th house. So that's the house of health. That's the house of staff and employees. It's the house of your service in the world to others. So any miscommunications, any scheduling mess ups, any mistakes, any errors, all of that should be being cleared up by this date now. And November 21st, Venus enters Scorpio. That's in your house of relationships. This is very romantic time, a very sexy time, while Venus is in Scorpio, a very seductive time. And then the Sun enters Sagittarius, also November 21st. This is going to be a much more hopeful and optimistic time of the year. As the Sun enters Sagittarius for Taurus, it's going to highlight your spouse's finances. It's going to highlight possibly your partner's finances. As the Sun in Sagittarius travels through your 8th house, November 21st through December 21st or so, it's going to be highlighting those 8th house things: wills, inheritances, loans, debts, settlements, alimony, investors, donors. Again, your spouse's finances are ruled by that house as well. So, and in general, the Sun in Sagittarius is just going to be a lot more optimistic of a time of the year. I think that collectively we're all going to try and be looking for hope at that time. Although that might be a fleeting moment, it is a moment where we will collectively be past the most difficult astrology of the year, and ready to confront what's before us in the most optimistic way possible. And November 28th, Neptune goes direct. And Neptune direct is going to, there is some vagueness and there is some cloudiness for Taurus in that house of friends and business associates. And you know, the Neptune shadow, the Neptune retrograde, I don't think, I don't know, Neptune is always there. That's the kind of thing that it's better to talk about, I think, more in a one-on-one reading, because it really, Neptune, you feel the Neptune transits the most when it's hitting one of the personal planets in your chart. Otherwise, it's kind of a more mundane collective experience. But for the collective, I do believe that Neptune is one of the underrated players in the COVID scenario and the pandemic scenario that we've seen unfold this year. You know, we can't attribute that to any one single planet. It was, you know, what they call the perfect storm. But Neptune is a significant, although subtle in the background player, very influential, you know, and as Neptune goes direct and then gets out of shadow, I do think that that's when we are going to be out of the COVID cloud, you know, because Neptune rules viruses and medicine in many ways, and we will be out of that Neptunian cloud, retrograde cloud, by March 21st. 2021, and I really look at that as the time when we're out from under the COVID cloud. And I don't know if it's because we get a vaccine. I don't know if it's because there's a treatment. I haven't been able to quite make out exactly how that happens, just that that is the timing. And as I study the transits and it gets closer and closer, things start to come more and more into picture and focus for me. So stay up, keep following me until, you know, as I do these monthly videos. And I'm also going to be doing a year-long video for the look ahead at 2021 altogether. So, you know, I just think that it's an interesting time to be alive and an exciting time to be alive. And then finally, November 30th is the full moon prenumbral lunar eclipse. And for Taurus, that is in the second house. And the second house is, for Taurus, well, for everyone, it's the house of finances and resources. And it's also the house of our self-worth and our self-esteem. So full moons, they illuminate, and they also bring a culmination in that area of our lives. Sometimes they bring up the shadow in ourselves or others. So you might want to look for that at the end of the year. But also, you know, again, because the eclipse is happening, I associate this Nine of Cups reversed card with the eclipse for you. And this means, you know, a wish is on the table and it's on the verge of coming true. So be patient, Taurus, and it's unfolding. And that is the overview for Taurus for November 2020. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. But of course, I hope you liked it. I hope you liked it. Follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. And please subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Please share this video with other Tauruses and have a wonderful, wonderful November, Taurus.